Welcome to our first webinar, which is really exciting. We tried this earlier and we had some technical issues, so we're doing another recording to guarantee that this information is still given to everyone who tried to come into the webinar and was having issues. I guess our screen froze, so we're going to redo it, make sure that everything goes well. But we're going to talk about your first aquarium today, which is really, really exciting. There is so much to talk about. This is the first step, I would say, to owning an aquarium. I wouldn't say that this is necessarily the only research you should be doing. You should be doing a lot more research than just this, but this is what we're going to be discussing. And this is, again, just to kind of dip your toes a little bit in aquarium care. I will be drinking my water because I've done this several times already today. So I definitely need my water, but we're going to just jump right into it. My name is Liz. I'm the founder and the board director for the Wave Coalition. I have 5+ years of experience in aquarium care, specifically with sharks and rays and sea turtles, but my love is tropical saltwater fish. That is what my thesis was on, is my master's degrees in marine conservation management. But I do also have a bachelor's degree in environmental science because it was, I didn't want to say organic chemistry. So, you know, that happens. So I'm the founder of the Wave Coalition, which is a 501c3 nonprofit in Minnesota, and we're dedicated to empowering individuals and to become environmental stewards. And we do this through conservation and research, animal welfare. We're doing this through education. And WAVE actually is an acronym. It stands for Wildlife and Welfare, Action and Advocacy, V for Vision and Innovation, and Education and Empowerment. So we're definitely multidisciplinary. And so that's what we do, is animal welfare, and focused on providing animals that are in human care with the right care. And so that's what we're doing with this webinar, is because people own fish as pets. And instead of telling people, no, you can't do that, we would just rather focus on how people can do it in a more animal-friendly way. So with that being said, let's kind of dive in a little bit here with the benefits of owning fish tanks. There's a lot of research that's being done. A lot of the research that's already been done is actually pretty biased. And that just means that the people who have done these studies are people within the aquarium industry who are promoting the aquarium industry. So we're not quite sure if what they're finding is correct because they're biased. So a lot of medical journals are currently doing a lot of this research and doing data reporting to try to promote unbiased reviews on all of the data that's already been collected to try to get a more clearer picture. And what they're finding, though, currently is that the benefits of having fish tanks can actually lower stress, improve mood. And some research that's currently being done right now, so it's still pending, is helping kids focus, specifically those with ADHD, as well as helping calm patients with Alzheimer's and helping increase mood within, and helping with aid sleep, which I can attest to, because working in an aquarium, it can make you tired because it's very soothing to stare at fish all day. And I can say that full stop. I don't need data to tell me that. The first big decision you're going to make when making a decision about aquariums, and if you wanted to own a fish tank, is whether you're going to do fresh or saltwater. There's pros and cons for both. Many hobbyists like to tell people that the first step you should do is freshwater, because it tends to be a little easier. A hobbyist is anyone who takes care of fish as a hobby, so they're not doing it professionally. Even professionals who have fish at home would also be classified as a hobbyist. So hobbyist is kind of what we call ourselves in the community. And a lot of hobbyists do say that freshwater is the easiest way to start because the fish are hardier. 90% of almost all the freshwater fish out there are captive bred, meaning that they are well equipped to handle water quality changes. They're able to handle the types of food that humans feed them, and they've been in human care all their life. So they tend to be a little bit hardier than saltwater fish, but it does not mean that saltwater fish in general are not hardy. There's actually a lot of saltwater fish that are captive bred, but majority amount of saltwater fish are unfortunately wild caught. And in our ebook, we go over a little bit more of how you can do this more sustainably and eco-friendly, but we're not going to go over that tonight. With freshwater, it's easier to maintain. A lot of hobbyists say that as well. The water is just dechlorinated water, so it's clean water that's just fresh water, which you can easily do at your house. Whereas saltwater, you do need to make your own salt water, and it can be kind of expensive to get your own box of salt and then mix your own water at home. But a lot of places will also just, you can buy the water at their store. So if you go into an aquarium store, odds are they have water that they can sell you. So you don't have to worry about that. And a lot of people do get that wrong with saltwater, that yes, it can be pretty expensive, but there's a lot of people out there in the community that are trying to make it easier for people to own saltwater animals. But again, freshwater are generally cheaper and the maintenance is a little lower than saltwater. The equipment with saltwater can be kind of scary, especially if you're first starting, but don't let it scare you. You were at one point a learner yourself with something that you're really good at now. And now you might look back and go, oh, that was really easy. Why didn't I understand that? Same thing can be said with fish tanks. It's going to be scary the first time you do it, the first time you get all that equipment, but don't let it scare you because everyone was a beginner at some point. So, and now people own these giant saltwater fish tanks. So don't let that scare you. But generally speaking, freshwater tends to be a little cheaper and easier to maintain. When it comes to the animals, there can be compatibility issues on both sides. So even though it says compatibility issues and plant challenges on freshwater, saltwater definitely has its own, but the dynamic ecosystems is really going to be something you're going to see in saltwater, meaning you're going to see a lot of animals that work together, and you're going to see that mutualistic relationship that some animals have. You can actually purchase gobies that live with shrimp, and you're going to be able to see that. You're going to see the clownfish and the sea anemone go together and work hand in hand. So you're going to see a lot of these mutualistic relationships that would be seen in the wild. And that's the beauty of saltwater, is that you're really getting the sense of this is what it's like in the ocean, which is really cool. If you do it right, the animals will show you exactly what they would do in the wild, because they don't believe that they are in human care. Like, they don't, obviously they know that there's the acrylic, but in reality, the saltwater fish and even the freshwater fish who have been in human care all their life, like, this is their norm for them. So as long as you're doing everything correctly, the fish don't really know that they're in an aquarium setting, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there's pros and cons in both. So this is going to be your first big decision. The second decision is going to be picking the types of fish you want. Now, some people are going to say no to me on that, but the reason why I say it is because then you're able to do research on the types of fish and their needs before you make other decisions that could affect the life of that fish. So I always recommend first pick fresh or saltwater, then start doing your research on all the kinds of animals that could be available for you. And we will have a whole section dedicated later to choosing your fish and the easiest fish on the market. Again, most of this is data, but a lot of it can be opinion too. So we'll probably get a lot of comments about, oh, well, I don't agree with that, or, oh, this. Guys, bean soup theory, okay? We're just keeping it nice and vague, keeping it easy for people to understand.